I'm Michael Dervan, feeling rather strange to be sitting in a velvet chair in an open space in the National Opera House in Wexford. Usually when I'm here, I'm in the beginning of the festival, excited by the opening night buzz all around me. Today, because of COVID-19, I'm here for an impossible interview with soprano Ermonela Jaho. Hi, Ermonela.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me.
It's all of 20 years now since your first appearance at Wexford Festival Opera. That was in Tchaikovsky's Maid of Orleans, as we English speakers refer to Orléans. And Opera magazine noted your bright, alluring Agnès Sorel. A year later, when you returned in Massenet Sappho, my own Irish Times review mentioned Giuseppina Pionti's wide-ranging approach encompassing delicacy as well as rage, before adding, but the soft singing of Albanian soprano Ermonela Jaho as Jean's good girl orphaned cousin Irene carried a tingle factor of quite a different order. So you've made quite an impression here. It's great to have you back It's great to have had you back for a masterclass with the participants in the Wexford Factory, Wexford Festival Opera's new professional development programme, and for this interview, though of course the arrival of COVID-19 has thrown all of this into the domain of digital remoteness. Where were you and what were you working on when the COVID-19 lockdown hit you?
You said that beautifully, Michael. Yes, this situation, this COVID-19 stopped everything actually. And for me, I was shocked because I was living in this kind of reality. We were rehearsing in Marseille. It was March, beginning of March, and I was preparing my debut as Adriana Lecouvreur there. And we were working, until midnight, because it was that kind of time schedule that in France they had, and almost ignoring, if I can say to you, what was happening, what was happening around us. Paris closed the opera house, or in Italy and everywhere. It was some surreal, situation, and suddenly, and in Marseille, everything, it was going very well. We went forward, with the rehearsals. But suddenly, before the dress rehearsal, we had to stop because the situation went really, really in a bad condition. So, and I was in Marseille, and I took the last flight back to New York on March 14th. And and from that moment it was really, really difficult because the artist will live with this kind of connection with the public, and suddenly to stop that, and the feeling like you feel worthless, you feel like like a fish out of the water. It was really, really, really difficult, but in somehow what I observed in all this situation, it was the fact that even in this kind of difficult times, we needed art. And in somehow we fulfilled our lives in this lockdown with art, because we were watching on YouTube or movies, Netflix and everything, So in somehow we understood the whole this period that we can miss everything, but our soul needed art. So and still I'm here, preparing for the productions that will come in the future, hopefully. But it is really difficult, and this situation brought out the vulnerability of the world, of the artists, of the art, because the first thing that it's prohibited, if I can say that, is that you can't have the full public. We can't perform anymore, close to each other, and it changed our lives completely, 100%, absolutely, yeah.
And is the Adriana lost forever, or will it be rescheduled?
Yes, it will be rescheduled in Marseille. We'll see in the next couple of years, but I'll do that in the future. hopefully everything will be okay if we'll have this the vaccine, and what is important, to make that happen earlier. I'll sing Adriana Lecouvreur in Vienna, and I'll make my debut in Spain with Adriana Lecouvreur, with Rosetta as a stage director as well. So yes, I have my schedule is I have the contracts signed for next 5-6 years, but forward. But you never know. We're living, every day is a new day. Every day we have some of this kind of news that not always they are beautiful news. So, and we have to adapt our lives, to this situation. We have to make it work, and yeah. But still, I'm working. I'm studying, because as an opera singer, you can't stop, because it's everything about exercising, with your exercises for the memories, for your muscles, to work is like you are like a sportist, and you have to work every day until the moment comes, and you have to be ready, because at the end, that's our job. Yeah.
And what should you have been working now, nearly 6 months on from the start of COVID?
Oh, Michael, I had 7 contracts cancelled, 7 different titles. So, and I lived the stage in full. And for me, every time I go on stage, it's like my first and last show of my life. I love it, because for me, it's like a therapy, it's a catharsis. It's something that it makes my life worth it. So, and I was like a little girl, dreaming with open eyes, and I was working on each production. That after 2-3 weeks, I had the annunciation that it was cancelled. So I studied Iris, in Italian, for Mascagni, new opera. Yeah, it was supposed to be another debut in Madrid, which was cancelled. Adriana Lecouvreur, I'm studying Dialogue of Carmelites, which is supposed to be now in November in Munich. Repeating Butterfly, Traviata, Leon Doffmann, Maria Stuarda, a lot of arias, a lot of operas, different repertoire, but to keep the technique as well, to adapt to each production, to each role. So yes, I keep on working, and somehow in this period I took care of certain students that I had, just not to abandon them, and to give the hope that, because I couldn't be so negative. I was with myself, to be honest with you. I felt a little depressed because away from the stage, and when you don't have this kind of connection, the vibration, the dangers, if I can call that, artists with the energy of the public, it's something, even if you study hours and hours, you see the evolution, the progression of your technique still doesn't fulfill you, because you need that vibration, to connect with the public. But I worked with my students online as much as I could, with some master classes, and yes, I was promoting, in this period, my new CD, the album recorded with Opera Rara, Anima Rara, called Anima Rara. So I kept myself busy, but still, I have to be honest with you, I miss the stage, I miss the public, I miss that kind of connection with my colleagues, and it's becoming more and more difficult more I'm away from stage.
So these recent months have been a time of transformation and, unfortunately, destruction, and those things are going to happen to institutions in the arts and to individual careers. So operatically speaking, what do you think is most important for us to try and preserve from destruction as we go forward?
The most important thing is the hope. Absolutely, the hope. We have to think that everything is possible, even though I know it's virtual, to connect. Like yesterday, I had this masterclass with the beautiful voices, beautiful young talents from Wexford Factory. And still we have to give them the hope. Everything is possible, to keep this kind of fire, to connect to each other still, if we want that, because the magic of the music, the magic of the art can can connect even with even being so distant. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. And it was so beautiful, and really thoughtful, the challenging that the certain institutions and opera houses they are taking, like for starting from Wexford. So I'm really thankful and grateful to this and to the head of the Wexford Festival, Rosetta Cookie, and everyone involved to keep this fire, lightning, to give the hope to the young artists, singers, to connect with the artists that we are in this business, in this opera world, and we make the living, and we get. We are in difficulty as well, in this situation, and to give them the hope is the most important thing. And the other thing is that to give our experiences, to share our experiences, not to feel alone, because this is a pandemic situation brought the humanity to be really so isolated and alone. And the music keeps us together to give our experiences. I speak from my point of view because I grew up in Wexford, and the way how they challenged, even in that time, to bring and to dare to bring to life these beautiful unknown operas. It's something that not everyone can do that, and they did show that right now as well, to bring singers that we grow up that, and we need to give back something to the young generations, to keep this fire of for the art alive, and to give our experience back as a duty. So even through internet, through streaming, but still to give life to the opera world. Certain opera houses like Madrid, they challenged themselves also, putting a Traviata. And it worked out. Yes, maybe you don't have a lot of public, but it's somehow something is moving until we are waiting for the vaccine. So yes, the reality is changed. We have more distance, but what is very, very important, and we have to keep that in mind, never like in this time, we need to connect to each other. And the connection, we feel it when we are close to each other. But if we want that and we live for that, even through these difficulties, even through, to be a little virtually speaking, still we have to keep that connection to each other. And this, only the art, the music can make it happen. So beside all the difficulties, I think the most important thing is to keep the connection and the hope that the opera, the music, the theater will exist, because it's a necessity that the human souls, they need that. So yeah.
There's a cliche in English: never waste a good crisis. That
absolutely,
in bad times, strange things. Do you see any kind of positive transformation for the world of opera on the other side of COVID-19 when it's in control?
The positive side, I can say that never giving for granted anything. So we have to feel it, to live in full our lives as an artist. As an artist, you have to be really committed, and the art is not only a job. The art is not only a business. I'm talking that about a business to see the world, wide. But it's not only a business, it's the necessity that we have. And this period taught us that never giving for granted when we are on stage as artists is our duty to be honest, to give to sing out our souls, because we have a message to give to the humanity, because we connect to each other through our empathy, through to believe in each other. And this happens only if you have the empathy, which this reality brought that up, because before the COVID, everything was okay, but we were missing some empathy. And everyone was working in the politicians or any kind of other fields, in other fields, they were working, only looking at their business without thinking about the worldwide, or the importance that how to live, to make our living better, So, and the art has this power. So now we learn that, and we have to be really careful, especially for the people that the persons that they are the head of the opera houses, to bring artists and to give to the whole world, to give that kind of honesty, and to give the emotion. That's what I'm saying, to be honest, and because we can't live without art. That's and never like this time it was so important. So that's the positive side. It brought this COVID, and we need to be all together. We need empathy. We need to be all together, and all together. I think the music is a big lesson, because when you see a production, on stage, it's not only the singer, the soloist. There is the chorus, there are the colleagues, there are the orchestra. But behind the orchestra, you have a lot of people behind the behind the stage, off stage, the technicians. But they have families, and all is this kind of the world which brings all the humanity together. That's the sign, the lesson that I think this COVID brought to the humanity. I think, yeah.
If I gave you a magic wand with supernatural powers, what sort of changes would you like to make to the world of opera in the post-COVID-19 world?
Beautiful question. The change that I could think. We have. It's a little difficult to say that now. The change the post. Yeah, because it makes me think now. To take it seriously, really, to be to bring the public back, to the opera, to bring the public back to the opera, 100%, the full public, yeah.
Okay.
That's
I'm probably going to give you now an even more difficult question.
Okay,
let's imagine there's a genius somewhere. He's been out of work and locked down since spring, but he's invented a time machine. Where in operatic history would you want to travel to?
I would like to travel in Bel Canto history. Yeah, in that period. Yes, I would love to be there, because I'm so romantic, or I like to dream, and because of dreaming, in somehow I lived in this double world. It was a reality that I lived every day with the difficulty, the reality that we can't avoid. And in my dream, of course, I was singing, thinking in a romantic way. And which I've done that when I was a child, when I started to think, I dreamt to be an opera singer, and what happened to me afterwards, it was what it was that kind of life that I was dreaming, like, in details. I wanted to sing Norma, or I wanted to sing Traviata in that opera house. I wanted to sing that Bel Canto opera, or that other one. And in somehow, that dream became a reality, because, and that kind of dreaming, it was in that period, in that epoch, in Bel Canto epoch, if I can say that. So I would love to live in that period, yeah.
And is there any composer you'd like to meet?
Some of them, because you fell in love when you studied music, and I connect to certain repertoire, But Puccini, absolutely. Bellini, Verdi, Donizetti, Handel. I'm going a little back, but because I with all humbleness, I can say I don't know the whole repertoire, so I don't want to miss something else. But all maybe the composers that they are connected with my soul, all the dramatic, the deepest drama that they brought into the opera. Yeah. Yeah.
And is there any first night you'd particularly like to see, hear how it went?
The first night.
Yeah, for me, I'm Irish, and there was an Irishman in who worked with Mozart, so I'd like to hear Nozze di Figaro for that reason. Is there anything that thing?
For me, I would love to sing Traviata or Madame Butterfly, one of them. And Traviata, going back to Traviata because it followed me. It has a tender and beautiful story, because Traviata, it was my first opera that I saw in Albania, and I decided to become an opera singer. Traviata, it was the opera that I've sung more than every other roles, around 300 times. And Traviata, it was the first experience that I have there in Wexford. It was something magic, because Traviata is a dream, for every opera singer, but especially for me, that I was coming from Albania. I was, I was thirsty to live that moment, and my dream was. I lived my dream in Wexford, and we worked, and Rosetta Cookie was the stage director. It was an incredible moment, because we connected so deeply to each other, and it was that special moment which gave to me the reason and made me feel so good and worth it. That's why I needed to continue to be an opera singer, to sing in the future more and more, because that connection, that opera in that beautiful place in Wexford, I felt so much love, so much empathy and appreciation, and gave to me the courage and the hope and trusting to myself to go forward. So it's very important. That's why I would like to sing always in my mind is Traviata. And just to go back to Wexford, I think it's very important, because that festival gives so much experience and hope to the young generation, because when I was there, I understood how you need to work so hard to become a good artist, a good musician. And it's really, really difficult to find that in every place. And in Wexford, all the young singers, they will understand how important the preparation, which is not so often and never given for granted, that you can find in the other places. And the discipline, the taking that seriously, to put your body, your mind, your soul singing, and to learn so much. It's that kind of bagage that you need for the whole career. So that's why I go back always. Maybe maybe I was answering a little longer, but that's why I go always back to Traviata, because it has so much memory and reminds me that every dream is possible. Nothing is impossible. So yeah, Traviata, because Traviata keeps me in mind as saying, yes, still you are living your dream. Still, if you sing Traviata, you are in the good, still you can deliver. So yeah.
And the last question for this impossible interview: if you received an invitation from Wexford Festival and they allowed you to choose the opera, so obviously it's got to be a rare or a neglected opera, what work would it be and why?
There are two operas that I would love to, because I discovered that from the opera art, and I didn't know that before. Siberia, which I know only the two arias, and I loved it so much. And Lodoletta from Ascagni. Why Lodoletta? I can't explain it to you. It's that kind of emotion, that kind of connection. I recorded the last scene which is over 15 minutes of Lodoletta, and every time I finish in tears. It connects to me in certain dimension. I can't say that to you, but it's something that really I feel it so deeply. And Yes, Rosetta actually she invited me, and I will be my pleasure to come back there. And if I have to choose an opera, I would love to be Lodoletta, or because I love it for these reasons. But I'm really open if Rosetta could propose me, I don't know, another Anaglatit opera that I don't know. It will be my pleasure to discover and to live it and to bring it to life, in that wonderful, amazing stage in Wexford.
Ermonela Jaho, it's been wonderful to do this impossible interview with you for Wexford Festival Opera. Here's hoping we and everyone else can get to see each other in the flesh sooner rather than later. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah.